Faith reforms man, while knowledge trains man's temperament. Knowledge and faith both give power to man, but power given by faith is continuous, whereas power given by knowledge is disjointed. Knowledge is beauty, faith is beauty too, but knowledge beautifies reason and thought. Faith beautifies spirit and feeling. It's like faith is for your soul, your inside. Both knowledge and faith give man security, but knowledge provides an outer security, whereas faith provides an inner security. Knowledge gives protection against diseases, floods, earthquakes, storms, while faith provides security against restlessness, loneliness, a sense of insecurity or low thinking. Knowledge harmonizes the world with man, while faith harmonizes man with himself. So, as you know, both knowledge and faith have attracted some of the greatest thinkers. Now, what has happened to the world? I showed you what's one of the aspects of the Bible. And what happened from the Christian world in Europe? What happened to them? Or the Christian American Protestant world? What happened to us? What happened to us? And how are the Muslims being influenced? First of all, anybody heard of a guy named Allama Iqbal, Dr. Muhammad Iqbal? You know this guy Iqbal? The poet. He says something interesting. First, he says we need spirituality. We need it. For sure, we need it. It will guide us, it'll help us and all that. But then he starts talking about what is the idealism of Europe. What does Europe want? Okay, Europe, in America, because he lived, there was a time where Europe was the superpower, and you're talking about 18 and 1900s. So for Europe, their goal is their perverted ego, their desires, the selfishness. They just want to, they're intolerant democracies, they don't care about the poor at all, they just want to help the rich. And this is, if you look at America, you look at what's happened this week about voting Palestine as a state, everybody's scared because they're going to bother Israel who wants to say no. First of all, Palestine was a state before the UN started. Okay, the UN started in 1948 or something like that. They were a state. Okay, and the UN, unfortunately, was, with the help of the US and Truman and all these guys, they started Israel state. Fine. But give them their rights, guys. Come on. Well, what has happened? People are scared. They just care about the rich, the powerful, the guys with the money. The Palestinians are poor. Who cares about them? Come on. Look what's happened to the world. So the Muslims, on the other hand, what do we have? We have in our hands the possession of the ultimate revelation of God. We have the truth. And we can change the world, inspire and guide, and the knowledge and the power of the... Look at these two things of the Bible against the Quran. Look at the difference. The Quran is saying that God will give us knowledge and guide. Knowledge is important. And the danger is disobedience to God and the desires, of the animalistic desires, the ego. While the Bible is saying knowledge is bad. Look at that, how small of a little point, how the Quran just blows away the world. Simple. Now we're looking at the world and saying, where are we going? And so you look at these guys, and you look at these brothers and sisters who are in this society, their desires are just all over the place. And they've been taught in school, and every time they watch a television show, everything they see is satisfy those desires. Who cares? We talked about this, the music industry, and like what Lady Gaga is singing today. She doesn't, you know what she's saying? Just do what you want. Just who cares? Satisfy your desires. Don't even think about it. So the environment, society says, I don't care if I step on your toes. I need to satisfy my desire. I need to get what I want. And so this is dangerous. So Will Durant, you heard of this guy before? Okay. He was a guy who wrote a book called The History of Civilization. It was popular like maybe 70 years ago. Anyway, he wasn't a religious person. He wasn't, but he was an intellect. And he said the ancient world differed from the new machine of the world only in means and not in aims. What will you say if you found that all the progress that consists in the improvement of the methods and not in the means? Okay, what is he saying? This sounds like, okay, another boring philosophy, boring class in university. I'm wasting my time. What is he saying? Go back to the ancient world to today. We're living in the 21st century. What's the difference? Only difference is we have improved the methods of gaining things. Our aims are still the same. Greed, selfishness, and the wrong aims. The only difference between now and then is only the knowledge, the technology. Everything else is the same. We're still backward. We're still living in old times mentally because it's all about satisfying our desires, about nature, conquering, eating, satisfying just all these pleasures of the outer body and not even thinking about the future. Torture, massacre, who cares? Kill people just so you get what you want. This is the world the way it was thousands of years ago. We haven't changed. The only thing that's changed is the methods, the knowledge. Now we can, instead of shooting an arrow at someone, just drop a nuclear bomb on them. We don't care. So this is the way the world has changed. Only on the way we're doing things. The aim is the same. And then what he says, and this was interesting. What will you say about this problem? And he says, it is not the betterment of the aims or the goals. He's saying wealth is boring. Wisdom is cold and boring. It's just cold. What is this wealth and wisdom? It's useless. He says it is only love which brings tenderness and warmness to the heart that will save the world. He said it's the one who realizes the existence of this vacuum, this problem in the world. And he says for him, who's not religious, what's going to satisfy this vacuum in us? We have this vacuum in us. We're a feeling of emptiness. You go to school, what grade are you, brother? Eighth. Go to school, you're between the age of 13, 14, everybody's talking about dating and music and satisfying their desires, and then they're unhappy. And as I told you about that brother, who's an American guy who just ran away from home, they're just so unhappy. They have just an emptiness inside them. This Will Durant says the way to satisfy the emptiness is art and literature and philosophy. Okay, fine. But he's also saying there's a guy named Spencer, and this is the problem of the world. Everything has become mechanical. What do they teach in school? Science. All mechanical. Forget about the inner feeling, the spiritual. Forget about that. No, they ever teach at university spirit? Spirit at all? No. Oh, the spirit of my university. Who cares about that? They never talk about the spirit of ourselves, the faith. Never. Everything is very mechanical. You're living in a mechanical world. Money, it's just driving us. Okay, let me start saying what the problem was. He said about Spencer. He said Spencer just said forget about art and music and all this stuff. Just think about science. And if you look at what did that create? A bunch of robots in the world. And he said if the world would have been much better if these guys didn't bring their philosophies to us. Because now we're all become mechanical. We work, eat, drink, and just die. That's all we've become. Robots. We're totally mind controlled. And you watch all these YouTube videos. All the Muslim channels, what are they trying to show you? Stop being controlled by the media. Stop being brainwashed. Wake up already. But the problem is we've all been taught. Just gain knowledge, get a job, have a family, eat, drink, and die. That's all life is about. Forget about everybody else. Somalia? Where's that? All those guys, the pirates have been stealing our stuff. And some people say it's good for them. I told you last year when there's an earthquake in Japan, you know what some of the kids were saying? Oh, what's next? Tsunami, earthquake, now Godzilla's coming. You know, people don't care. They just don't have a passion for somebody else. Now there's others who care, who cry. That's what makes humans different from animals. When you hear a child being tortured without having any food or water, now you cry. Now you're a human when you feel that. So, can knowledge take the place of faith? Do you need both? Is one enough? Look at Europe today. They have knowledge. They have no spirit. Look at America. They have the knowledge. They have the technology, but they have no spirit. What has happened to them? They've become these blood-sucking monsters, vampires, and everybody's talking about new moon nonsense. This is what the world has become. Become vampires and eat and drink blood and have love and passion and just for the satisfaction of desires. And the world is your place to conquer. And what happens if you think like that? It's become destructive. Look at the empires are crumbling. Look at the empires. The greatest empires of the world are crumbling because they're borrowing and satisfying their desires of wealth. I want another car. Okay, I don't have money. Borrow. I want another bridge. Borrow. I want another White House improvements. I need to, they spend $1 million for a road.